Hello gamers, and welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the high-grade Gundam Seed Destiny Zaku Warrior. So this is a kit from 2004, of course based on the Gunner Zaku, or I guess the Zaku Warrior, from Gundam Seed Destiny, the anime. And of course the Zaku Warrior is a redesign of the Zaku, which is from the original Gundam series. Here you can already see the inspiration that this takes from this, because of course it is a redesign. You can see the heads are like very similar. That's kind of the same thing with all Zaku's. We have the same shoulder spike on one arm and then shield on the other, though it is reverse, which I find kind of cool. And the fact that this shoulder only has 2 spikes and the rest, I guess, are moved to this shield, whereas this just has flat shield and then all the spikes on this shoulder. You can also see the tubes are in the same place on the head, waist, and legs, though it's a lot less noticeable on the Siege Destiny version of the Zaku. You can also see that for some reason, this is taller than this, which is actually really odd, because according to the Gundam Wiki, this guy right here is 17.5 meters tall, whereas this guy is 17.9 meters tall. Essentially, their height difference should be reversed. This guy should be taller than this guy, but for some reason it's not. You could try to make the argument that these two high grades are from completely different periods in high grade history, but this guy's from 2004, this guy's from 2003. So why the height is so reversed, I honestly have no idea. Anyways, the Gunner Zaku Warrior here, it is very accurate to its anime appearance. I think the only thing on this that wouldn't be really anime accurate besides lack of color separation in some areas, like inside these thrusters, the black inside these white bits here, though I did paint that, the black inside of all the yellow bits, which again I painted, and of course the fact that the color is wrong. I'll pop an image up on screen right now. And as you can see, this main green, this light minty green, isn't the main color on this. Even the box represents that. But other than all of those accuracy issues, the proportions are basically spot on. I feel it's a bit chunkier than it would be in the series, but it still is pretty good. Because it is, animation and is an older animation, there's gonna be a few moments where its size just kind of changes randomly. But anyways, in terms of color separation, it is really good. We get some black for, I guess, that part that the only sticker is on, which is that eye sticker. We get some gray for the pipes right here, white for these vents here, and then we have some yellow for, I guess, this vernier, and this vernier, and then of course a darker green for the main torso, and that's basically all the colors that we get on this, and these same colors do carry over to weapons. Oh yeah, and there also is that main minty green, which is a very nice color. Actually, the same one that was used on the standard high-grade Zaku from 2003. Anyways, for some size comparisons, here it is with some Universal Century mobile suits, some 00 mobile suits, and some Wing mobile suits. And lastly, some Seed mobile suits. And for some more direct size comparisons, so yeah, way smaller than he should be. Now on with the accessories. First off, we have his machine gun. We also get 2 extra magazines, and these are not some dummy ones. They actually do work. They're exactly the same as the ones in here. What's cool about these is if you take the shield, you can actually store them in here. Like, for example, this one, you can just get it in there. Just like that. And of course, both spares can fit in there. And what's one of my favorite parts about this kit is how you store this. So, come around back here. Usually you would just remove this part, and then there'd be like a hole to stick it in, or there'd just be a hole there, which would look really bad. But this figure, this kit, look at this. It slides open! Yeah, it's on a little tiny sliding rail system. So you can easily slide it open, then you just take your gun, flip that back, and line up the peg attachment right here. And bam, we have it nicely secure on there. Not gonna fall off. Spin it back around, and it looks really cool on there. Next up we have an accessory which is kind of odd to me, which of course is the Heat Hawk. So of course I did paint this. Yeah, my paint kind of sucks. I did a bit of white here, and then I tried to emulate the effect here with some white on the base and some chrome red at the end. I kind of should have just used the chrome red, but yeah. Anyways, it is nicely sculpted. I did kind of paint it over, like, where it was supposed to be, because there's supposed to be a effect here, like a beam saber. But this isn't the weird part of the accessory, no, it's how it's held. So you would expect it would just be held in the standard holding hands, right? No, we have this. So this is basically an exact clone of the holding hand, it's just the hole is a bit different, which you can't even see on camera, the difference. There is a difference, though, I think, but yeah, so this is to hold the Heat Hawk, even though it seems like the normal hand would hold it just fine, but standard sandwich, just pull that apart, put it into the handle area, and then we just take the hand again, and we just put it back in. Easy as that. And then we can just swap out the hands. And now he has his Heat Hawk. So yeah, it is weird how you kind of have to have a whole other hand just to do this, even though it's similar enough to the normal hand that it doesn't really make sense. I guess it fits in there fine. It kind of wobbles around a bit, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a different hand if it's just gonna, flop around. Well, it does look really nice in his hand, though, because this redesign of the Heat Hawk looks really cool. And that's basically it for the weapons. So no leg-mounted missile pods or bazookas. But I don't think the Sea Destiny design had any of those. But of course this means there's no wizard packs, because it is just a standard Zaku warrior. And it is really cheap, so it makes a good army builder. But if you want any of those cool wizard packs, you're gonna have to get some of the variants. Like the Lula Maria Hawk one, or like the Isaac Jewel one. But we do have one more accessory. An alternate hand. So yeah, we do have the alternate hand for holding the Heat Hawk, but we also have something which I miss in new kits, a widespread open hand. So this one is molded really nicely. I love how nicely molded it is. It's really expressive, but it's funny. This came on the A runner, the multicolor runner, but this came on the same part of it as all of these tubes, which are kind of rubbery. So this hand is also kind of rubbery. I don't know if it'll really show on camera, but you can bend it, which is kind of cool. No, you can't bend it too much, it just reverts back to its normal state. But it's cool that it has that. But it does look really cool when used with this figure. With all of its accessories. Yeah, he doesn't come with a commander antenna, which I don't really think is that important. But overall, you do get a pretty nice amount of accessories for the amount that you're paying. So I forgot to mention the skirting armor right here. I guess these little funny things, these are grenades. They're detachable. They don't fit into the hands because they're a weird shape. The hands are rectangle. Oh no. Don't fit, but they look cool, even though they're not color accurate. They still look cool, and they're all removable. Because this thing is dirt cheap. Not high-grade gem cheap, but it's there. But now to move on to the articulation. So the head is on one of those old neck polycaps, where basically it's a hinge at the bottom and a ball joint at the top, and the hinge is made out of the polycap, which these give you a good amount of movement. You get up, down, but they fall off really easily, and I mean really easily. If you try to move this head side to side at all, any more than this, and yeah, it kind of just... The shoulders are on a kind of odd joint. There's a ball joint right here in the torso, and then a peg attaching to the arm. So you basically get all movement you would from a standard high-grade ball joint polycap shoulder, minus the extra movement you would get from the hinge. But we get, for upwards movement, this much. If we move our shield, and the other arm we get about the same. And we get a bit of forwards, which can it give us an elbow bend? Yes, so we can cross his elbows. I'm just going to take the shield off. Bicep rotation. We then get a single jointed elbow bend, which only actually gives you 90 degrees, but because the arm has a curved shape, looks like you get a bit more, and because the ball joints on the hands, you get a lot of movement from them. You can move them up a bit, so it looks like you get a bit more out of the elbows. The ab crunch is actually pretty good, so normally you just get, paralyzed, but if you pull it up off of its peg like this, you can get this, which doesn't look like a lot, but for a Zaku it's quite a lot, and for the time as well. You can pull it up even more and get more of an ab crunch. So yeah, it is really cool. Also, the shield has some really cool articulations. Let me quickly pop that back on. So we have a ball joint here at the shoulder, which combined with this can already give you quite a bit. And then we have a ball joint just here, so you can get a bunch of movement. Like you can walk to the front, put outwards like this, walk his back, and even like just do some crazy stuff like that. So the shield is like super expressive. Next up, the front skirting armor is just permanently joined on the runner. If you try to split it, they're just gonna fall off. But it is cool because these are supposed to be clipped onto the wires here, and they aren't. They're just on a bar behind the crotch piece. They did mold a bit of the wire here, which is cool, and because it's the same molding on all the sides, it looks like it's just moving on the wire when you move it like this. So if you paint that up, or if you can find the right color of paint and then paint that up, that would look really cool. Yeah, these are just joined. You can move them forward like that. Nice color-separated yellow here. The side skirts are on a little hinge here, which is actually connected to there. And then the butt is paralyzed, but we have some nice yellow color separation here. The hips are just on ball joints, so this is all you get up to the side. You get like quite a nice bit of thigh rotation actually, but the kicks are really good. You get this to the front, which again is pretty good for a Zaku, and because Zakus usually aren't that articulated, so this is pretty nice. Now we get to the knee bend, my least favorite part of the kit. So the actual range on the knee bend is pretty good, right? You get like almost all of it. It looks a bit awkward, but that's fine. Pretty good. My main issue is this wire right here. This wire. I hate it. Let's try to bend it forwards. Alright, we got pretty good. You want to bend it? Okay, so it's not doing it on camera. Basically what happens, oh, that just fell out. So what happens is either it's going to fall out all the time, or like on my other leg here, get jammed. So, see, it's pushed itself in so far into the joint, you kind of can't bend it. You have to pull this out, which is really hard, and you feel like you're going to break it every time. And usually I end up just pulling it out, and then you have to put it back in. But you can't put it in too far. But, yeah. And also the fact that these legs are basically the same as the very first high-grade Zaku's legs. Which is a bad thing because, just happened to be off camera, this. They love to fall apart because we have a polycap right here, and polycaps suck. So that kind of just doesn't really work out. And the entire wire thing just fell out. Ooh. Yeah, the range of movement on the legs is good, but those wires, and they don't like to stay together either, so you have to be very careful with the legs. But other than that, the ankles are really good. They're just a standard high-grade ankle joint, basically, but you get a bunch to the front, which can give you some really good crouching poses. To the back, you get basically nothing. And for the ankle tilt, you don't really get much, but I do really like the design of these legs. They're like those kind of Zeta Gundam style ones. But anyways, this thruster back here can also move just a bit backwards like that, and mostly inwards like that. So yeah, the high-grade Gundam Seed Destiny Zaku Warrior is a pretty good kit. Looks-wise, it is really cool looking. It looks mostly like it does in the show, minus colors and I guess kind of the proportions. Accessory-wise, you get a nice loadout of its gun, its heat hawk, extra magazines, and some spare hands. Gimmick-wise, I guess, there is a really cool sliding butt flap thing for storing the gun. And also the fact that the grenades on the sides of the skirts are, I guess, they are removable and can be used as weapons, but they don't fit in the hands. Articulation-wise, it is pretty good for the time. except for those legs. Those legs I absolutely despise. So I guess getting to the point of the video, or I guess not the video, the point of the title of the video, does this kit need a revive? Kinda? The kit, like, the current one we do have, holds up really well. It's, like, it's kind of cute, because it's tiny. It's way smaller than it should be, but it is still a really good kit besides those legs. So if they do make a revive, what I do want to see is more solid legs, but I also want to see a comeback of the cool little butt flap opening gimmick and that crazy articulation on the shield on the arm. But I kind of doubt Bandai's actually going to make a revive of this, mainly because they're not releasing as much Gunpla nowadays, and the Seed Destiny, like, high grades that they are releasing right now are ones of kits that didn't exist before, like the Dagger L or the Wyndham. And this kit obviously, exists. With the upcoming release of the high-grade revive Zaku 2 from the original Gundam series, they could maybe, retool it into this Zaku. Though I kind of would prefer if they made its own separate version. But I do like all the gimmicks on the Char's Zaku 2 revive, which is what the new Zaku is going to be based on. But yeah, anyways, the figures rating. I think I have to go with 3 Roy Roys. And it's kind of funny how all of my recent reviews have all been 3 Roy Roys. Or I guess all my reviews have included this new rating system, aka just this and the Alto. And I guess also that Project Star video. But Project Star doesn't really count because it's not Gunpla. I don't think I gave that 3 Roy Roys. It's because I've mostly reviewed all of the ones I think would be maybe a 4 or a 5. But I already kind of have an idea for my next review. I may not do it, but I kind of have an idea for it. But anyways, that's it for my review of the high-grade Gundam Seed Destiny Zaku Warrior. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like. If you didn't, don't. And yeah, bye.